What's up, guys? Ade here, my boy Casey, who took first place yet again at our locals. You got any shoutouts or anything? You want to go right into your list?
Yeah, I'll just pretty much get rid of the list. It's not that far off like a normal Fire King list. It's Fire King. But I did some cool tech, and you'll see it here. But
Heck yeah.
I'm testing it out. I just want to like make the right call. You might see the Infernoble deck profile I did a little bit with earlier with Zaid. I'm trying to decide between those two decks for Philly. So
vote in the comments. Which deck you think's better?
Philly,
I know you've watched them both.
Yeah, watch them both, definitely. All right, so anyway, I'll get into the deck. I'm playing 41 cards, and I made some adjustments to kind of get it down to that. You'll see. This deck is kind of interesting because of what I'm not playing and like the main deck choices. We're a little teched out, so nothing crazy, but I'll let you know. Anyway, so playing most of the cards in the ratios you'd expect. Ponix, 3 of. I have seen people playing 2. I think until the new stuff comes out, you just play 3. 3 Karen. That's probably the best card in the deck, other than Garunix. Lets you recur forever. I'm playing 3 copies of Arvada. I'm playing no copies of Tenki. One of the things I wanted to do in this new build of this deck was to not lose to Droll as much, because the deck has pretty natural problems with Droll. If they Droll before you use your Fire King Island, you don't get access to the best part of your engine. So I wanted to like see this card naturally more often. So
But not have to tanky into it.
Right. Even though sending Tenki with the Simple Spoils package is really powerful, I found that it often put me in an awkward spot. So that's why I went with 3 of these, because if I can normal summon a card, I probably want to normal summon this and let's have a big wonky combo. 2 Garunix. Until the new stuff comes out, just play 2. I did get to do a few times. I got to play on my opponent's first turn by having a combination of 3 cards, like having Kieran, Garunix, and another fire to pop, which is always very fun because you get to like disrupt them when they think you can. So really good. I'm playing the 1 Barong. I'm not playing the Ring Bali or whatever it's called, the other level 4. I really haven't tested it a bunch, and I wasn't in love with it when I did. So I was very happy with this lineup. I think that's probably the standard lineup, but it was good. I'm also playing the Little Snake Eye package. You can get this off of your Sinful Spoil stuff and special it, and then you get to normal summon the Ponix usually, or get to the Ponix at least, and then you get this guy. And this guy's the craziest resource in the deck. If you can access this, you get to do a lot of stuff in recycling. This card is really powerful. A lot of times you'll build a board that uses Sunlight Wolf to get this back in your hand, and then you have it in your hand to pop with the Kieran during your opponent's turn, or to pop with the Fire King Island during your turn. So you get to, whenever he's destroyed, you get to special summon 2 level 1s out of your graveyard, and then these will both trigger. If you do it in your opponent's turn, you have IP, you just made a bunch of materials. So it's really strong. Really cool. A lot of the deck is also knowing when to push and when not to push. I'm not super good at that yet, truth be told. That's one of the things I'm working on. But you can push super hard with the Snake Eye cards. So you have that available to you, but you have to sort of gauge what your opponent's doing and play well into what they have, or what you think they have. So other stuff, I'm playing a Kashtira engine. I am playing the Rise Heart.
Just because it's fire to pop?
That's exactly why, yeah. So the idea is if I get to either the Sanctuary or the Island and I have this, I can still get to everything I need to do to like play my engine.
Yeah, just it's your like little brick that makes Fenrir an engine card, kind of.
Right, yeah, it does. And it's pretty good. This is like the 41st card probably, but truth be told, this comes up more often than I thought it would. It's pretty good. I was iffy on Fenrir at first because a lot of boards end with you like wanting to set up the Xyz summon on the opponent's turn, and then this just kind of gets blown up if you do that. But I found that usually if you just have this on the board, it's like one more thing they gotta beat through, and then if it gets destroyed, you've already used it anyway.
So it's all right.
Yeah, and it's also really good going second, which I think this deck can struggle with a little bit. So that was that. I'm playing 2 copies of Dia Bellstar. The reason for 2 is because I want to see this engine as often as possible to make sure I can get to Ponix, because if you don't get to Ponix, you usually lose. And then to get to this guy to start your like crazy.
Why not
crazy
3 then?
I tested out 3 and I didn't mind 3. I was purely for space that I only played 2. But I think you could play 3. I think it would be fine. And this is only until we get Populous and all the other stuff. But yeah, it was pretty good. I'm also playing 2 for like another little cheeky tech thing I'm doing. I'll show you that in a little second once we get to that. But yeah, 2 was good. 2 came up a lot today actually, so I was happy to have played a second. Okay, and then I'm playing a little bit of Hand Trap.
You have to play the fire one.
Yeah, and actually it being fire did come up a few times. I even normal summoned it and crashed it to some of my Garunix back ones.
Works for combos. I mean, it's also like you can add it back with Sunlight Wolf.
Yeah, and I didn't do that today, but I have done that before, and it's really strong when you do it. And then I main deck Droll. The reason why I main deck Droll is because I feel like Droll's pretty good against most decks right now, especially with the Airlifter getting hit in the Rescue Ace deck, and like it's very good against this deck in the right situations. It's only really not good against Labyrinth, and this deck has a pretty good matchup against Labyrinth anyway.
Well, Ash and Fenrir are good against them, so it's okay to have a going second slot that's not great against them.
Yeah, and this helped a bunch. Every time I drew this card, it was crazy. I hate this card, but it's really strong. But anyway, that's all the monsters. Then spells, playing 3 copies of Wanted, because you do that. And then this is kind of standard action stuff here. I'm playing 2 Island, 2 Sanctuary. I've seen people playing 3, but I actually prefer to play this, the second Diabell Star, to get into it, to get to the island more often, rather than play 3 of this, because I don't like see multiples of this
That's
card.
fair, yeah.
I'm only playing 1 Skyfire burn, or Skyburn. I really like this card, though. It's like Fire Lake for all the old heads.
Is that what it does? You get rid of Fire Kings and then blow up their cards equal to it?
Yeah, you target your Fire Kings and the cards your opponent controls, destroy them. It can get back row.
That's nuts.
It also has an in-grave effect to protect your guys if your Fire Kings would be destroyed. And that came up a good number of times today. The cool tech.
Droplet goes crazy.
Yeah, I was playing Droplet. Yeah, Droplet was very strong today because it's like another layer of interruption that your opponent usually doesn't account for. And sometimes this deck just makes extra bodies that it kind of wants to get off the board anyway. So this is like super strong. It's good going first and second. And then the cool little synergy I was talking about earlier is if you open multiple parts of the Sinful Spoil package, you'll usually end up with like an extra one that doesn't do anything. So what I was doing is during the opponent's turn, I would use the one and search the second copy of Diabell Star. And then I could use the Forbidden Droplet to discard the Diabell Star, turn off their stuff, and then the Diabell Star will activate summoning itself and searching again.
Oh, that's cool.
So it makes another body too, so like you can sneak another body out there to like make your IP a little bit better. And that was really good. I did that a few times. It was strong. They never saw it coming. One of the original Sinful Spoil against with these. The Call by the Grave, because the deck does lose to a good number of hand traps, and it's just really good. You should probably just play this. And then last card in the main deck was 3 copies of Imperm. Just more hand trap. It's good.
14 going second slots. That's about the amount that I like.
Yeah, this has a lot of versatility, and if you play the deck kind of conservatively, it holds a lot of those resources, and you can kind of play smart. So you can kind of play into your play style and make a choice of what the opponent is doing. To choose when to go in is important. That's hard. But it's cool. So anyway, that's the main deck. Like I said, that's 41. You could probably cut a card. I did side the second Diabell Star out sometimes. Whenever this wasn't particularly good, I took them out sometimes. And then a few times I did side out the Fenrirs just to make a little bit more space, but they're so good going second, it was hard to justify that.
Yeah.
And then sometimes you also side out Droll if that's not a relevant matchup. I played Labyrinth today. I took those out, obviously. But so that's the main deck. I'll do the extra deck real quick. It's 15, as you would imagine. This is not super organized, so bear with me. I'm playing the Fire and the Earth Charmers. This is pretty standard stuff these days. You're using these to get the opponent's good fire monsters, this to get their Diabell Star or their SP, and then you go into this, and then you kill them with access code. There he is. Other stuff. Link Karibo, super important in this deck because it's Cyberse and it's a level 1, you can keep reusing it. A lot of times you're going to use this to trigger your Sunlight Wolf to get a card back, and then you can use the Sunlight Wolf and this to make Heat Soul, which is pretty good. It draws you a bunch of cards and it draws you into like hand traps and interruptions and
our card is
cool
crazy.
Stuff. Yeah, cool stuff to discard for Droplet and just good stuff in general. Other things, I'm playing Almirage in case you need to normal summon a card and turn it into a fire monster. You can summon any hand trap, it can turn into this.
That's cool, actually. That's cool.
Sometimes it matters for linking that you want to get your Ponix in the graveyard before you like pop an Arvada or something, so that you can like continue your play in a good way and get extra value off the Arvada. And this being a fire monster is super relevant for that because then you get to keep the fire on the board and you can use it to link up into something that requires fires later in the turn.
And Cyberse.
And Cyberse, yeah, it kind of checks a lot of boxes actually. Sunlight Wolf, this card's like an all-star in this deck. I love this card.
Is this card worth money now, like even the low rarities or not?
Probably not. The low rarities is probably like $1 or $2. This is probably pennies. But the supers are like $3 or $4, I think. Other stuff, Relinquish Anima. You're playing level 1s, you play that card. IP Masquerena, you know what that card does. It's very good in this deck because you get to make a lot of bodies, and a lot of times you can also trigger the Sunlight Wolf with this under it and get another thing during the opponent's turn.
That's nice.
Yeah, very nice. Little Knight, I'm only playing 1 in this deck. I would love to play 2, but I like the versatility of the extra deck a little bit, so I'm only playing the 1. Other things, Appaloosa, you can make this in your really good going first combo where you get to the Snake Eye Engine and Garunix. You get to make this during the opponent's turn using Sunlight Wolf and IP on your board, and you get to recycle the Flamberge. It's really good. You should look up the combo. I won't do it here. But I'm also playing an Underworld Goddess. I found this card comes up a decent amount of times because you make a lot of bodies, and you can often end on an IP, and then this can just like surprisingly take your opponent's whole board.
Our locals has like 2 Pearly players and 2 Labyrinth players. I feel like that's really good for addressing those decks.
Yeah, and it's super good. Sometimes I even just like get the cards on my board generically like on my turn, and it's still do it. It's still really good. Then 2 Xyz monsters, it's Typhon and the Big Phoenix.
How's this card been for you? I haven't played with it since it came out.
It's like, you never think it comes up because it doesn't do anything. Like, your game plan should never involve this because this is what you do when things go wrong. But whenever things go wrong, sometimes you just make this and they die. Like, sometimes that just happens.
You just clear the last interruption, attack for big numbers.
Yeah, and sometimes just getting a big boy on board is pretty good. Especially after your opponent pushes and you can stop it with hand traps or something. You just make this and they kind of can't answer it right away, and usually it's pretty strong. So this came up a few times today. I had a match that went pretty grindy, and this was an all-star. But yeah, it's really good. It's good against Vanadium. It's good against a bunch of stuff. If you have space, you probably play it. But anyway, that's the extra deck. I'll do the side deck real quick. It's 15. I played 3 Nibiru. This is for the combo decks. I also bring it against Rescue Ace because they have to play into a little bit harder now. If you stop their some stuff, they have to pivot and play a bunch of monsters and just zap them. I'm playing 3 DD Crows. I'm playing these over Bells because this deck already has a pretty good matchup against Labyrinth. Labyrinth has to destroy a bunch of your cards usually.
That card's also not bad against Labyrinth.
Yeah, it's not. And if you use it properly to get like the trap or something, I did make a mistake against one of the guys today and used it really wrong and it didn't do anything. But if you use it right, it's real good. It's also really, really, really good in the mirror match because they go Garunix and you go Blop. Yeah, it's
get out of here.
Yeah, get out. Other things, I'm playing 3 copies of Spellbound. This is for Pearly because they can whenever they go Pearly, you go or
that's kind of cool.
Yeah, in the mirror match, you can also get them when they try to use their IP. You can pretty much see whenever the big things are going to kill you are about to happen. You just do this. It's really good.
Get rid of those big things. Is this just they can't summon from the extra deck using them?
They can't use them as material or tribute them, so you can use this against Flu too.
Cool.
Yeah,
weird
cool.
but cool.
Very weird but very cool. 3 Cosmic Cyclone. This card's nuts.
Do you think that's better than Lightning Storm Duster? I was having that debate today, and I think that Cosmic would have been the right choice, but I didn't play it.
I'm still playing the Duster. This is really good in the mirror match because you can hit the island with this, and the Sanctuary can't protect it because it can only stop destruction.
It's better against Lab. It's better against Runic. It's better against Unchained. It's better against a lot.
Yeah, it's really strong. I considered main decking it, actually. It's just not super good against Rescue Ace because they get to recycle their stuff if they get to HQ. But other than that, that's pretty strong. Also, if they like make Diabell Star and set the original Simple Spoils,
and you just cosmic it.
You zap it, and it turns it made their thing do nothing.
See ya, bud.
Yeah,
Thanks for playing.
So yeah, Harpies is the other, and then for the last 2, I'm being a real cool guy and played 2 copies of Skill Drain.
You must have made a lot of friends with that one.
I didn't.
People invited you to some parties after your match.
Yeah, so I got beaten up real bad by this earlier in the week, so I wanted to test it out, and I only found room for 2 of them because I don't know. I don't want to see multiples of this. And another thing to note about my deck, I'm not playing Pot of Prosperity. I found that card is really strong, but it opens you up to Droll a lot of the time.
That's Droll. That card makes it so we can't play a lot of cool stuff.
I know. So yeah, it lets you open a Droll. Also, I had a hard time killing sometimes after it because you can make about 12,000 damage pretty easy, but you can't make 16,000.
Yeah.
So yeah, so
it's a weird flex that you can even make 12.
Yeah. Well, your Gurnix gets really big. You get a bunch of bodies, but an access code it adds up. But yeah, so since I'm not doing that, it's a little bit harder to find these. I should probably side 3, but 2 was what I had, so I ran 2. And I did see it. It was pretty good. Maybe I drop one of these for it. I don't know. But yeah, so that's the deck. That's 15, 41, 15.
Sick. Well, thank you for the profile.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks, guys.